The warning lights flashed red across the control room of Station Alpha 7, the most advanced monitoring post in the Zephyrian Empire. Commander Veltar stared at his screens with growing confusion. For 30 years, he had watched the empty space at the edge of their territory. Nothing ever moved through this sector without permission from the Empire. "Sir, the readings are getting stronger," said his assistant, a young Zephyrian named Kolven. His blue skin had turned pale with worry. "Whatever it is, it's moving faster than anything we've ever seen." Veltar rubbed his 4 eyes and looked again. The numbers on his screen made no sense. The object was traveling at speeds that should be impossible. Even their fastest warships could not move like this. "Run the test again. The sensors must be broken." Meanwhile, millions of miles away, Captain Jake Morrison sat in the pilot seat of the human ship Liberty. He was drinking coffee from a metal cup and reading reports from his crew. Jake was 42 years old with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been chosen to lead humanity's first mission to explore deep space. "Captain, we're picking up some strange signals ahead," said Lisa Park, from her seat at the navigation controls. She was a small woman with black hair tied back in a tight ponytail. Lisa had been the best pilot on Earth before joining this secret mission. "Looks like we might not be alone out here." Jake put down his coffee and walked over to her station. The Liberty was not a big ship. It had 5 crew members and was built for exploration, not fighting. Earth scientists had worked for 20 years to build this vessel using technology they found in crashed alien ships. "What kind of signals?" Jake asked. "Radio waves, but not like anything we know. The patterns are too organized to be natural." Lisa pointed to the wavy lines on her screen. "Someone is definitely out there, Captain." In the engine room, Danny Rodriguez was working on the quantum drive that powered their ship. Danny was a short man with strong hands and a quick smile. He had fixed more broken machines than anyone else on Earth. The quantum drive was humanity's greatest achievement, but it was still experimental and sometimes caused problems. "Hey Katie, can you come look at this?" Danny called to Katie Bell, their communications officer. Katie was 28 years old with red hair and green eyes. She was the smartest person Jake had ever met when it came to languages and codes. Katie climbed down the ladder into the engine room. "What's wrong now, Danny?" "The drive is working fine, but it's making energy patterns I've never seen before. Look at these readings." Danny showed her a handheld device covered in blinking lights. "It's like our ship is singing a song that no one has ever heard." Katie studied the patterns. "This could be why we're able to move so fast. Our drive might be doing something completely different from normal space travel." Back on Station Alpha 7, Commander Veltar was getting more worried by the minute. The unknown object had not slowed down or changed course. It was heading straight into the heart of the Zephyrian Empire. He had sent 3 messages to his superiors, but no one believed his reports. "Sir, I'm reading massive energy output from the object," Colvin said, his voice shaking. "The power levels are beyond anything in our database." Veltar stood up from his chair. In all his years of service, he had never seen anything like this. The Zephyrian Empire ruled over 17 star systems and had conquered dozens of alien races. Their technology was the most advanced in the galaxy. Nothing should be able to surprise them like this. "Send an emergency signal to Fleet Command," Veltar ordered. "Tell them we have an unknown vessel approaching at impossible speeds with technology we cannot identify." On the Liberty, Ryan Carter was studying the sensor readings in his small laboratory. Ryan was the ship's science officer, a thin man with thick glasses who loved solving puzzles. He had noticed something strange about the space around them. "Captain Morrison, you need to see this," Ryan called over the ship's communication system. Jake walked to the science lab, which was barely big enough for 2 people. Ryan was pointing at a star map on his computer screen. "We're not in empty space like we thought," Ryan explained. "There are structures out there, big ones. I think we found signs of a major civilization." Jake felt his heart beat faster. Earth had always wondered if humans were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, but Jake was not sure if it was good news or bad news. "How big are we talking about?" Jake asked. "From what I can tell, they control hundreds of star systems. This is not just one planet or one species, Captain. This is an empire that spans across a huge part of the galaxy. Back on the monitoring station, Commander Veltar received a response from Fleet Command. Admiral Kexthul himself was coming to investigate, bringing 12 of the Empire's most powerful warships. Veltar had never seen so many ships mobilized for a single unknown contact. Colvin, prepare all our weapons and raise our shields, Veltar commanded. If this unknown ship is hostile, we need to be ready. On the Liberty, Katie Bell was trying to make sense of the radio signals they were receiving. She had set up her equipment to listen for any kind of communication. What she heard made her hands shake with excitement and fear. Captain, I'm picking up organized transmissions. Multiple sources, all using the same basic communication protocols. This is definitely an intelligent civilization, and they're talking to each other about us. Jake called all his crew to the main bridge. Danny climbed up from the engine room, wiping oil from his hands. Ryan brought his computer tablet with him. Lisa kept one eye on the navigation controls while listening to the meeting. We knew this day might come, Jake told his crew. We're about to make first contact with an alien civilization. From what Ryan has discovered, they're much bigger and more advanced than us. We need to be very careful about what we do next. Are they friendly? Danny asked. We don't know, Jake replied honestly. Katie, have you been able to translate any of their communications? Not yet, but I'm working on it. The signals are getting stronger, which means we're getting closer to them, or they're getting closer to us. Lisa checked her navigation screens. Captain, I'm reading multiple large objects moving in our direction. They're still far away, but they're definitely coming toward us. Jake looked out the front window of the Liberty at the stars ahead. Somewhere out there, an alien empire was preparing to meet humanity for the first time. Jake hoped his small crew was ready for whatever was coming next. The Liberty continued moving through space, carrying 5 humans toward a meeting that would change the history of both species forever. Admiral Kexthul stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Thunder, watching 12 of the Empire's finest warships move into battle formation. Each ship was 3 times larger than anything humans had ever built. The Admiral was old even, by Zephyrian standards, with deep scars across his gray skin from battles fought across the galaxy. Admiral, the unknown vessel is still approaching, reported his tactical officer, Commander Yexnel. It shows no signs of slowing down or changing course. Kexthul had conquered more star systems than any other admiral in the Empire's history. He had seen dozens of alien races surrender when faced with the might of the Zephyrian fleet. But something about this situation felt different. The unknown ship's technology readings made no sense according to everything they knew about physics. Have we tried to communicate with them? The Admiral asked. Yes, sir, but they haven't responded to any of our standard signals, Yexnel replied. Either they don't understand our language, or they're ignoring us on purpose. On the Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison was having problems of his own. Katie Bell had been working for 6 hours straight trying to decode the alien transmissions. Her red hair was messy and her green eyes were tired from staring at computer screens. Captain, I think I've made a breakthrough, Katie announced. Their language uses mathematical patterns. I can't translate words yet, but I can understand basic concepts like numbers and directions. Jake walked over to Katie's station. The communication equipment filled most of one wall of the bridge. Lights blinked and screens showed wave patterns that meant nothing to Jake but were like a puzzle to Katie. What are they saying? Jake asked. From what I can tell, they're talking about us. They keep using the same word pattern when they mention our ship. I think it means unknown or stranger. But Captain, there's something else. The number of different voices suggests there are at least 12 separate sources talking to each other. Lisa Park looked up from her navigation controls. Captain, I'm reading 12 large objects arranged in a military formation. They're positioned to block our path forward. Danny Rodriguez came up from the engine room, carrying a tablet full of technical readings. Boss, our quantum drive is acting strange again. It's putting out more energy than usual, and I can't figure out why. Ryan Carter was studying his sensor data when he made a discovery that changed everything. Captain, you need to hear this. Those 12 ships ahead of us are each armed with enough firepower to destroy an entire city, and they're all pointed at us. Jake felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He was making decisions that could affect all of humanity. Earth was counting on them to make peaceful contact with alien life, but they seemed to have found a military force that saw them as a threat. Admiral Kex Thule grew impatient, waiting for a response from the unknown vessel. In his experience, ships that ignored Zephyrian communications were usually preparing to attack. He had not stayed alive this long by taking chances with unknown enemies. "Open all communication channels," the Admiral ordered. "Send this message, on every frequency we have." The transmission that reached the Liberty was unlike anything humans had ever heard. Katie Bell's equipment picked up the signal and immediately began working to translate it. The mathematical patterns she had been studying suddenly started making sense. "Captain, they're talking to us directly now," Katie said with excitement and fear in her voice. "I can understand some of it. They're demanding that we stop our ship and surrender immediately." "Surrender?" Jake asked. "We haven't done anything wrong. We're just exploring." "That's not how they see it, Captain. From their message, I think, we've entered their territory without permission. To them, we're invaders." Lisa checked her navigation charts. "Captain, if this is their territory, it's huge. We've been traveling through it for 2 days without knowing." Danny looked at his engine readings again. "Maybe our quantum drive is what's got them scared. We're probably showing up on their sensors like nothing they've ever seen before." Jake had to make a decision quickly. The alien fleet was getting closer, and their message made it clear they thought the Liberty was a threat. He could try to run, but their ships might be faster. He could try to fight, but 12 warships against 1 exploration vessel was not good odds. "Katie, can you send a message back to them?" Jake asked. "I think so. The mathematics are the same, so I should be able to construct basic concepts. Tell them we come in peace. Tell them we didn't know this was their territory and we mean no harm." Katie worked quickly at her communication station, building a mathematical message that she hoped would translate correctly. She sent concepts for peace, friendship, and exploration rather than war or conquest. On the Iron Thunder, Admiral Kex Thule received the human message. His translation experts worked to decode it, but the concepts confused them. The unknown ship was claiming to be peaceful, but it possessed technology that was clearly more advanced than anything the Empire had ever encountered. "Admiral, their message says they come in peace and claim to be explorers," Commander Yexnol reported. "But how can that be possible? No peaceful species develops this kind of advanced technology." Kexathul had ruled through strength for so long that the idea of a powerful species that was also peaceful seemed impossible. In his experience, all advanced civilizations used their technology to conquer others. That was the natural order of the galaxy. "It could be a trick," the Admiral said. "Perhaps they're testing our defenses before launching a full attack." Back on the Liberty, Ryan Carter made another important discovery. "Captain, I've been analyzing their ship designs from our sensor readings. Their technology is different from ours, but it's not necessarily better. They use brute force approaches where we use efficiency." "What does that mean?" Jake asked. "It means their ships are bigger and carry more weapons, but our ship can do things theirs cannot. We're faster, more maneuverable, and our shields use completely different principles." Danny nodded in agreement. "Our quantum drive is like nothing they've ever seen. To them, we probably look like we're breaking the laws of physics." Katie received another message from the alien fleet. This time, the tone was more urgent and threatening. "Captain, they're giving us one final warning. They want us to shut down our engines and prepare to be boarded, or they'll open fire." Jake looked at his crew. Lisa was ready at the navigation controls. Danny had his hand on the engine controls. Ryan was monitoring their defensive systems. Katie was waiting to send whatever message Jake decided on. "We came out here to find other intelligent life and make friends," Jake said. "But it looks like they see us as enemies before we've even had a chance to introduce ourselves." The alien fleet moved closer, weapons charging and ready to fire. The Liberty hung in space between peace and war, carrying the hopes of humanity into an uncertain future. Admiral Kexthul gave the order that had ended countless battles across the galaxy. "All ships open fire. Destroy the unknown vessel." 12 Zephyrian warships unleashed their most powerful weapons at once. energy beams that could melt mountains, and plasma cannons that had leveled entire cities all fired at the small human ship. The space around the Liberty lit up like a deadly fireworks show. On the bridge of the Liberty, alarms started screaming as the alien attack began. Jake Morrison watched the incoming fire on his screens and knew they were about to die. No ship could survive that much firepower. "Shields up," Jake shouted, though he knew it would not be enough. Danny Rodriguez hit the shield controls from his engine room station. The Liberty's experimental shielding system activated just as the alien weapons reached them. Instead of the explosion everyone expected, something impossible happened. The alien energy beams hit the Liberty's shields and simply disappeared. The plasma shots that should have destroyed them were absorbed like water soaking into a sponge. Not only did the shields hold, but the ship's power levels actually increased. "What just happened?" Lisa Park asked, staring at her control panels in amazement. Ryan Carter was looking at his science readings with wide eyes behind his thick glasses. The shields didn't just block the attack. They converted the enemy weapon energy into power for our ship. We're actually stronger now than before they shot at us. On the Iron Thunder, Admiral Kexthul watched his screens in complete shock. In 50 years of military service, he had never seen anything like this. His most powerful weapons had not even scratched the unknown ship. "Fire again," the Admiral ordered. "Use maximum power on all weapons." The second attack was even more intense than the first. Every ship in the fleet fired continuously for 30 seconds, pouring enough energy to destroy a small moon at the Liberty. Again, the human ship's shields absorbed everything and converted it to power. Commander Yexnel's voice was shaking as he reported to the Admiral. "Sir, our weapons are having no effect. The unknown ship's shields are unlike anything in our database. It's as if they were designed specifically to counter our technology." Jake Morrison realized they had a choice to make. They could try to run away, which might make the aliens chase them. Or they could show these aliens that humans were not helpless but also not looking for a fight. "Danny, can you modify our mining lasers?" Jake asked over the communication system. "Sure, Captain. What do you want me to do with them?" "Make them precise enough to perform surgery. We're going to show these aliens that we could hurt them if we wanted to, but we're choosing not to." Danny's fingers flew over his control panels in the engine room. The Liberty carried mining equipment designed to cut through asteroids and extract valuable metals. With some adjustments, those same tools could become incredibly accurate weapons. "Ready, Captain," Danny reported. "I can hit a target the size of a coin from a mile away." Jake opened the communication channel that Katie had established with the alien fleet. "Katie, send them this message. Tell them we could destroy their ships if we wanted to, but we choose peace instead. Then tell them to watch what we do next." The Liberty moved forward through the alien formation like a dancer moving between partners. Lisa Park's piloting skills made their ship glide smoothly around the massive Zephyrian warships, which seemed clumsy and slow by comparison. Danny targeted the weapon systems on 3 of the alien ships with surgical precision. The modified mining. Lasers cut through armor and disabled guns without hurting the crews inside. In less than 2 minutes, 3 Zephyrian warships were defenseless but undamaged. Admiral Kexthul could not believe what he was seeing. The unknown ship moved through his formation, as if his massive warships were standing still. Its weapons cut through Zephyrian armor like a hot knife through butter, but they only disabled weapon systems without causing casualties. "They could have destroyed us," Commander Yexnel whispered. "They have the power to wipe out our entire fleet, but they chose to disable our weapons instead of killing us." The Admiral had never encountered an enemy that showed mercy during battle. In his experience, showing weakness led to death, but this unknown ship was demonstrating strength by choosing not to kill. Ryan Carter began broadcasting something that amazed the Zephyrian scientists monitoring the transmission. He sent mathematical formulas and scientific principles that the Empire's greatest minds had only dreamed about. The human science officer was sharing knowledge that could advance Zephyrian technology by hundreds of years. "Captain, I'm sending them our basic physics and engineering principles," Ryan explained to Jake. "Maybe if they understand how our technology works, they'll realize we're not trying to conquer them." Katie Bell added cultural information to the transmission. She sent music, art, and literature from Earth. She showed the aliens pictures of human cities, families, and peaceful activities. She wanted them to understand that humans were explorers and builders, not warriors and destroyers. "I'm trying to show them who we really are," Katie told Jake. "Maybe if they see that we have families and homes, they'll understand we're not here to hurt anyone." On the Zephyrian flagship, scientists and cultural experts gathered around their communication stations. They were seeing technology and ideas that challenged everything they thought they knew about the universe. But more importantly, they were seeing a species that combined incredible power with genuine, peaceful intentions. "Admiral," one of the scientists reported, "their mathematical proofs are solving problems our best minds have worked on for centuries. This species doesn't just have advanced technology, they think about science in completely different ways than we do." Meanwhile, Emperor Vorson himself was traveling toward the battle zone aboard his personal dreadnought, the Imperial Fist. The Emperor had built his empire on the principle that might makes right. Every species they had encountered was either conquered or destroyed. The idea of a powerful species that chose peace over conquest was something he had to see for himself. Lisa Park demonstrated the Liberty's incredible maneuverability by flying figure-8 patterns around the Zephyrian ships. The alien vessels tried to follow, but their massive size and conventional engines made them look like elephants trying to chase a butterfly. "Captain, I think we're getting through to them," Katie reported. "Their communication patterns are changing. They're asking questions instead of making demands." Danny kept the Liberty's shields active, but reduced their weapons to minimum power, showing the aliens that they were not preparing for another attack. "Boss, our quantum drive is still putting out energy patterns they've never seen. I think that's what's got them so confused." Jake made a decision that would change both species forever. "Katie, tell them we want to meet face to face. Tell them our captain requests permission to come aboard their flagship for peaceful talks." The message that Katie sent shocked every Zephyrian in the fleet. No enemy had ever voluntarily entered their custody. No species had ever offered to negotiate from a position of strength while asking for peace instead of demanding surrender. Admiral Kex Thule found himself in a situation no military training had prepared him for. He was facing an enemy that could destroy his fleet but was asking for friendship instead. Emperor Vorson arrived at the battle zone expecting to find the remains of an enemy ship. Instead, he found his entire fleet waiting peacefully around a small vessel that had made Admiral Kex Thule's most powerful warships look helpless. The Sioux. Emperor was 8 feet tall with dark purple skin and golden eyes that had seen the conquest of 17 star systems. "Admiral, explain this situation to me," the Emperor commanded as he stepped onto the bridge of the Iron Thunder. Admiral Kex Thule, who had never shown fear in any battle, was clearly nervous. "Your Majesty, the unknown ship possesses technology beyond our understanding. They disabled 3 of our warships without killing anyone, then asked for peaceful negotiations." Emperor Vorson studied the readings on the Admiral's screens. The energy patterns from the human ship were unlike anything in the Empire's vast database. "Have they made any demands?" "No, Your Majesty. They claim to be explorers who stumbled into our territory by accident. They want to meet face to face to discuss peaceful relations." The Emperor had built his power on the simple rule that strength determined who lived and who died. Every alien species had either submitted to his will or been destroyed. The idea of negotiating with equals was something he had never considered. On the Liberty, Captain Jake Morrison was preparing for the most important meeting in human history. He put on his best uniform and checked his translation device that Katie Bell had programmed with the basic Zephyrian language patterns she had decoded. "Are you sure about this, Captain?" Lisa Park asked. "We could try to escape instead. Our ship is faster than theirs." Jake shook his head. "Running away would make us enemies forever. This is our chance to make friends with the first alien civilization. We've met, I have to try." Danny Rodriguez had prepared a small shuttle with the Liberty's most advanced defensive systems. "Boss, this shuttle has the same shield technology as our main ship. If things go bad, you should be safe long enough for us to come get you." Ryan Carter handed Jake a tablet computer loaded with scientific information. "Captain, if they want to understand our technology, show them these files." Our approach to physics is so different from theirs that it might take their scientists years to fully understand it. Katie Bell gave Jake a communication device that would let him talk to the Liberty even from inside the alien ship. Captain, I'll be monitoring all frequencies. If you need help, just press this button and we'll hear you immediately. The shuttle trip to the Emperor's flagship took 20 minutes. Jake had time to think about what he would say to beings who ruled hundreds of worlds. Earth seemed very small and far away as his shuttle approached the massive alien dreadnought. The Imperial Fist was larger than any building Jake had ever seen. Its weapons could destroy entire cities, and its armor was thick enough to survive attacks from multiple warships. Jake's small shuttle looked like an insect flying toward a giant metal mountain. Emperor Vorzin waited in his throne room, surrounded by guards and advisors. The room was designed to make visitors feel small and powerless. Golden walls rose 50 feet high, and the Emperor's throne sat at the top of a pyramid of steps. Every alien species that entered this room had immediately begged for mercy. Jake Morrison walked into the throne room wearing a simple blue uniform with captain's bars on his shoulders. He looked around at the impressive architecture and nodded, with appreciation. But he did not seem afraid or overwhelmed. Instead, he walked confidently up the steps toward the throne. "Your Majesty," Jake said, using the formal greeting that Katie had taught him in the Zephyrian language. "I am Captain Jake Morrison of the Earthship Liberty. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me." Emperor Vorzin was surprised by the humans' calm behavior. Every other species had either attacked in desperation or cowered in fear. This human seemed genuinely pleased to make contact with the Empire. "You claim to come in peace," the Emperor said, "but your ship possesses weapons that made our fleet helpless. How do we know you are not planning to conquer us?" Jake smiled and activated his tablet computer. "Your Majesty, I'd like to show you something about my people." The tablet projected images of Earth into the air above them. Pictures of human cities, farms, schools, and families appeared like magic in the throne room. Jake showed the Emperor scenes of humans building, learning, exploring, and creating art. "This is my home world," Jake explained. "We have 7 billion people, but we've never conquered another planet. We built our technology to explore space and find other intelligent life. We hope to make friends, not enemies." The Emperor studied the images carefully. The human cities were clearly advanced, but they showed no signs of military dominance. The people in the pictures looked happy and peaceful, not like conquerors preparing for war. "Your ship's technology is more advanced than ours," the Emperor pointed out. "Why would a peaceful species develop such powerful capabilities?" Jake activated another section of his tablet. "We learned from studying crashed ships that visited our world centuries ago, but we developed the technology differently than you did. We focused on efficiency and defense rather than conquest and attack." Ryan Carter's scientific files appeared in the air, showing mathematical formulas and engineering principles that amazed the Zephyrian scientists in the room. The human approach to faster-than-light travel, energy shields, and weapon systems was completely different from anything they had ever seen. "We can share this knowledge with you," Jake offered. "Our scientists believe that cooperation between species will help everyone advance faster than competing against each other." Emperor Vorzin felt his worldview changing as he listened to the human captain. For centuries, the Empire had grown through conquest and fear. But here was a species that had achieved superior technology through peaceful research and cooperation. "What do you want from us?" the Emperor asked. "Permission to explore your territory safely," Jake replied. "Cultural and scientific exchanges that benefit both our peoples. Maybe trade agreements if we have things you need. We want to be neighbors and friends, not enemies." The Emperor's advisors whispered among themselves in amazement. No species had ever asked for friendship instead of demanding territory or resources. No enemy had ever offered to share their advantages instead of using them for conquest. "Captain Morrison," the Emperor said slowly, "your people have presented us with ideas we have never considered. You have shown strength but chosen peace. You have demonstrated superior technology but offered to share it freely." Jake nodded respectfully. "Your Majesty, we believe the galaxy is big enough for all of us to live and grow together. War destroys knowledge and wastes resources. Cooperation creates progress and prosperity for everyone. Emperor Vorson made a decision that would change the history of both species. Instead of trying to conquer or destroy the humans, he chose to learn from them. Captain Morrison, I propose a formal alliance between the Zephyrian Empire and your people of Earth. Jake felt his heart racing with excitement. Your Majesty, I accept your offer on behalf of humanity. This is the beginning of a new friendship between our peoples. The meeting ended with ceremonies and celebrations aboard both ships. Jake returned to the Liberty as the first human ambassador to an alien civilization. The Liberty departed Zephyrian space with a fleet of alien escorts, carrying the promise of a new era of peace and cooperation across the galaxy. As the human ship disappeared into the stars, Emperor Vorson realized that his empire was about to become something new. The humans had taught him that true strength came not from the ability to destroy, but from the wisdom to choose friendship over fear.